The moral code, the moral compass of the state-controlled media is something to behold. Now, as some of you may not know, the 2009 Nobel Peace Prize winner hosted a state dinner last night for Hu Jintao, China. Hu Jintao is holding the 2010 Nobel Peace Prize winner in prison in China. Not making it up. The 2009 Nobel Peace Prize winner hosted a dinner for the guy holding the 2010 Nobel Peace Prize winner in prison. And the media does not get the irony of this at all. They're too busy running around chasing Sarah Palin and radio talk show hosts over civility. Our media is so fraudulent. No talk about the political prisoners. No talk about the gulags. A question about human rights. The Chi-Com leader is allowed to slither out of the answer by saying, "I did not hear your question. I thought President Obama was going to answer that." There's no talk about how they harvest organs from prisoners in China. And there's Obama telling the head of this depraved society that we're all pleased with his country's progress. Meanwhile, the very same media is attacking innocent American citizens who have nothing to do with a horrible crime. The moral compass of our media is just stunning. And by the way, we have that's right, the media laughed when Hu Jintao sidestepped the question about human rights. Jimmy Carter has won a Nobel Peace Prize as well, and Jimmy Carter also attended Hu's dinner. So you had two American Nobel Peace Prize winners effectively honoring the head of a country who's holding 2010's Peace Prize winner in prison. And we had to listen to our fearless leader talk about all the great progress the Chi-Coms are making and how pleased we are with all that progress. In the meantime, Tennessee Democrat Steve Cohen, Tuesday night, went to the floor of the House of Representatives to denounce Republicans and compare them to Nazis, and the media marvels at his courage for not backing down, just as they marvel at Sheriff Dipstick's courage for not backing down from his inane comments. Here from Tuesday night on Capitol Hill, Steve Cohen, Democrat, Tennessee.
They don't like the truth, so they summarily dismiss it. They say it's a government takeover of health care, a big lie, just like Goebbels. You say it enough, you repeat the lie, you repeat the lie, you repeat the lie, and eventually people believe it, like blood libel. That's the same kind of thing. The Germans said enough about the Jews, and the people believed it, and you had the Holocaust.
Last night, Anderson Cooper, 15. He interviewed Steve Cohen, Democrat, Tennessee. Anderson Cooper said, "Representative Cohen, how can you think that it's appropriate for a member of Congress on the floor of the House to compare the statements made by Republicans about health care to lies about Jews told by Joseph Goebbels and other Nazis? How is that appropriate?"
I don't think Republicans are Nazis, but they used the same means that Goebbels used, which was to have a short, concise idea and repeat it over and over and over again.
But you're essentially comparing them to Nazis.
No, I don't think I was. Goebbels was the master of political propaganda. And as evil a man as he was the master of this. And when people use it and use lies over and over and over again, whether it's killing grandma, whether it's government takeover of health care or any of those things, somebody has to stand up and say, hey, wait a minute.
It's parallel universe, alternative universe time. I mean, we could point out countless Democrats who have perfected Goebbels. They are names: Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, Bill Clinton could probably teach a course. Harry Reid. By the way, Representative Cohen, I would like you to go back and look at a recent cover story in Newsweek written by Evan Thomas entitled "The Case for Killing Granny." We have raised fears that this is what Obamacare will do. you have a media maven who has written in defense of the concept. It's at Newsweek magazine, Congressman Cohen. The case for killing Granny. In support of Obamacare. Congressman, you are standing in quicksand when you try to defend your party and your president on this. The vast majority of the American people do not want Obamacare precisely because it is a government takeover of 1/6 of the U.S. economy. It is by design intended to eliminate the private sector health insurance industry, not just a couple of companies. And your own media, with story after story after story, defending every aspect of Obamacare, all the way to include a Newsweek story on the case for killing Granny. You should look it up, Congressman, before you trudge back to the floor of the House to double down on it and to get more praise for sticking to your guns by a corrupt media with no moral compass whatsoever. Now, Anderson Cooper, 15, CNN last night said to Steve Cohen, "You wrote, and I quote, reckless and hateful speech often has a terrible human cost. If the horrific events in Arizona are not enough to modulate our public discourse, is it likely, or it is likely, there will be more violence and more deaths? Do you really think your comments advance civility in the public discourse, Congressman Cohen?"
I think telling lies is uncivil, and I think somebody needs to stand up to the lies that are being told. And the fact is, they were similar to what Goebbels said: keep it short, keep it simple, keep it over and over, and people will believe it, and that's what they've done.
You know, Congressman, it's really pathetic. The American people are not the victims of propaganda on the right here. The American people who oppose this know it. They know what's in it. They've either read Obamacare or they have talked to people who have read Obamacare. They're not a bunch of mind-numbed robots who have been given propaganda talking points. It is not conservative media where you will hear identical words and phrases repeated by hundreds of different people, as we will hear on the left. If there are propaganda talking points in American media, it's to be found on your side of the aisle, Congressman. But again, and I can defend my side of the aisle all I want. We're rooted in truth, and we are rooted in principle. A majority of the American people are not wrong, and they are not of their opinion because they have been propagandized. In fact, Congressman Cohen, the American people have resisted the Democrat Party propaganda on Obamacare and have seen the truth. They have read it. We didn't wait for the bill to be passed to find out what's in it. We knew what was in it before it was voted on. That is why, Congressman, a majority, vast majority of the American people oppose it. I think telling lies is uncivil. I think somebody needs to stand up to the lies that are being told. That's exactly what we are doing. I'm not going to compare you to Goebbels. Propaganda is propaganda, but I do think that you need to go back and take a look at Newsweek, the case for killing Granny. You need to look at how many Democrats voted for the repeal in the House. It was 3. And lest we forget, Congressman Cohen, not one Democrat ran for re-election on Obamacare. Congressman, who's been more demonized in America recently than the Tea Party and the Tea Party's leaders? If you're going to make a comparison with Nazi Germany, isn't it clear who the new Jews are? Sure as hell in the Democrats. Who are the new Jews, Congressman Cohen? It's not the Democrats. It's the Tea Party. Tea Party. And by the way, is it okay to use Holocaust in this context, in this debate? Blood, libel. It's a fascinating thing. This issue is causing these people to make abject fools of themselves, which I happen to love. There's one more Steve Cohen soundbite, and this Anderson Cooper said, it's not actually the first time you've used this kind of rhetoric. In April of last year, during likened the Tea Party to the KKK. Isn't that another example
of kind of reckless speech, Congressman Cohen?
The Tea Party did arise, kind of like the Klan did after the Civil War. There were people who were out of power. They wanted their power back. The Klan after the Civil War was upset that African Americans had been given the right to vote, and many of them were in office, and they didn't like it, and they wanted to get back their old government. They wanted to take back their government. I was among the Tea Party people up here on the health care debate. I walked among them. I saw them. I saw a very angry crowd. I saw pictures of President Obama as Hitler, and I found that reprehensible.
Yeah, those signs are created by people like you. Those Obama Hitler pictures were created by leftists who infiltrated the Tea Party to try to create reactions among ignorant people like Congressman Cohen. Yeah, Tea Party's kind of like the Klan. Again, Congress and the Klan was a bunch of Democrats. The Klan was a bunch of racist pig Democrats, Congressman. Well, I'm just going to say, we're being told we need to be civil with this kind of guy. Did this guy not get President Obama's Tucson memo? And so notice, even with Anderson Cooper, sort of the kid glove treatment. What Anderson Cooper facilitates here is for Cohen to keep saying this stuff. There's no condemnation. There's just a curiosity from Anderson Cooper. Aren't you saying, are you sure? Do you really mean? Yes, I do. I'm doubling down on it. The KKK was the terrorist arm of the Democrat Party back in its day. Somebody want to try to tell me that Robert Byrd was a Republican ever? This guy is totally ignorant of his history. Totally ignorant. Now let's move on to F. Chuck Todd. This morning on NBC, they had a discussion there about Congressman Cohen and his remarks that you just heard. And here's what F. Chuck Todd said.
The only way these House guys think they can get attention is to do these things, and that's why it's all the House. Notice all the civility comments are coming from the senators. He's got a history of throwing rhetorical bombs.
Wow. Oh, he's got a history of throwing rhetorical bombs, so we're to tolerate this. Wasn't this all predictable, folks? We knew damn well the incendiary rhetoric and the uncivil talk was not going to stop on the left, and we also know the media was going to explain it and justify it. And say, well, you know, the only way they can get noticed is this kind of rhetoric. They're losers. The only way they can get noticed is to throw these rhetorical bombs. Not one word of condemnation from F. Chuck Todd. Nope. Only a demand that we put it in context and understand it. What a just corrupt business journalism has become. No moral compass whatsoever.